Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Perfect World Part 248 based on novel. So let's start. This scene was extremely frightening. A great purple sun rested in the sky, full and majestic, releasing blazing purple light. Purple energy was released strand after strand, filling up the void. In its surroundings, brilliant colors swirled about, purple multicolored light overflowing, crashing down like a waterfall. No one was able to see Purple Sun Heavenly Monarch's true appearance, his indistinct figure towering in the distant outer space. Only when he opened and closed his eyes could one feel a surging exuberant life essence energy. No one expected Huang to return. Now, Purple Sun Heavenly Monarch stood against him. Were the two going to fight? Only, what about Huang's cultivation? He disappeared for close to 3 years, no one knowing or able to understand his true strength. He didn't have a perfect seed to merge with, so could he compare to Purple Sun Heavenly Monarch? In that instant, everyone became full of expectation. They wanted to know what Huang was like now. Did you have Jin Jiaoshi test me? Shahao's voice was cold, not mild in the slightest. On the other side, Purple Sun Heavenly Monarch was the exact opposite. Even though the great sun was dignified, illuminating the world from above, his words were gentle, carrying a peaceful tone. It was my attendant being mischievous, stirring up trouble, please do not take offense. The situation was de-emphasized. With his words, he began to mediate the situation. Shahao's eyes swirled with light, but he didn't say anything. If this heavenly monarch had other intentions, no matter how daring his subordinates were, they still wouldn't have overstepped their bounds. The Nine Netherworlds AO is a long-time friend of the family, a close friend of mine. Purple Sun Heavenly Monarch directly said. Shahao was shocked. Was this to stop him from saying something here, fearing that he would say something unpleasant from his interrogation? Was this why he directly explained some karma and relationships? Oh? Nine Netherworlds AO. How is he? It's been some time. I wonder how far his cultivation has reached now. Shahao calmly said. When he fought a decisive battle against you in the past, it was a bitter battle of several thousand exchanges, but he still lost in the end. It dealt him quite the heavy psychological blow, previously experiencing some dark days. However, after suffering shame, he rose up boldly, relying on himself to enter an ancient cave, obtaining a perfect seed and then successfully merging with it. Purple Sun Heavenly Monarch said. Rising up from shame, do you think that being defeated by me was a type of humiliation? Shahao looked at that great purple sun in the air. Dao brother is overthinking things. Purple Sun Heavenly Monarch still had a calm smile on his face, but he also felt a sense of distance. The great purple sun became increasingly resplendent, moving across the sky, as if it ruled over the lives of this world's creatures. By approaching me, is it because you want to stand against me? Shahao asked. When I came out of seclusion, I heard that the Nine Netherworlds AO was defeated, which left me quite shocked, but at the same time a bit relieved. I knew that with his arrogant nature, he would suffer a defeat sooner or later, and only by this type of sharpening can he truly rise up. At the same time, I was quite curious, wishing to exchange pointers with the one who defeated him. Only, when I went looking for you, I discovered that you couldn't find a suitable Dao seed, and then thus disappeared. This left me feeling quite regretful. I was deeply moved that there was no one in the heavenly deity realm who could go head-to-head with you, thinking that there wouldn't be any more chances again in the future. Purple Sun Heavenly Monarch calmly said. When his final sentence was spoken, everyone became shocked. Then, they all revealed strange expressions. It was clear that Purple Sun Heavenly Monarch had transcended above, someone who was exceptionally powerful and confident. His meaning was clear, The two didn't exchange pointers at the heavenly deity realm, and now that he entered the sect master level, there was no meaning left. It was because Shahao didn't have a perfect seed. So the distance between himself and someone like Purple Sun Heavenly Monarch would only be pulled greater, forever unable to catch up. However, when I saw you take action just now, I feel like perhaps I might have misunderstood. Those types of methods aren't something an ordinary person could display. Using heavenly deity realm strength to defeat Jin Jiaoshi truly is impressive. Purple Sun Heavenly Monarch sighed with admiration. When everyone heard this, their minds all jumped. What was the meaning of this? Could it be that he suspected Huang also had a perfect seed, successfully merging with it? However, how could this be? There were only those few seeds, it was a set number. When one's cultivation reaches a certain level, it is difficult to find opponents. Huang, you can be considered a miracle, I admire you greatly. When I came out of seclusion, I heard many rumors about you. Today, perhaps I might have a chance to have my wish satisfied. Purple Sun Heavenly Monarch's voice carried a type of charm, a special type of charisma. This was especially the case for female cultivators. His natural talents were extraordinary, known as one of the most powerful great supreme beings of the younger generation. Together with his outstanding style, he was one of the most heroic young men. Not far out, the pearls of various clans, many beauties and female cultivators with moving appearances released brilliant colors from their eyes, gazing towards the great purple sun in the sky. A few outstanding talents from the various clans, a few young men, even though they were jealous, they couldn't help but sigh. Purple Sun Heavenly Monarch indeed had the qualifications to overlook the world, impossible to compare to. You wish to fight against me? Shahao asked, his head of black hair thick, but also glossy and smooth, reflecting light like a mirror, naturally hanging down before his chest and back. His figure was tall and slender, body naturally swirling with luster. His facial features were delicate and handsome, could be considered a young man with outstanding temperament, untainted by the energy of mortals, having a type of solitary immortal aura. However, in the eyes of some female cultivators, Purple Sun Heavenly Monarch's attraction was a bit greater, because he was powerful, mysterious. After he merged with great mist purple energy, this unmatched ancient seed, just how many in these 9 heavens 10 earths could be his opponent? Respecting the strong, revering the pride of heaven, this was a type of natural tendency of life. This was why Purple Sun Heavenly Monarch had extremely high prestige during these 2 years, receiving the admiration and fondness of female cultivators of all different clans. Meanwhile, Shahao had disappeared for a long time. If nothing unexpected happened, there should be no perfect seed for him to merge with, and he thus lost the qualifications to become a supreme being. That was why right now, his popularity was inferior to Purple Sun Heavenly Monarch in the air. Correct. I wish to fight against you. Are you willing to accept? Purple Sun Heavenly Monarch nodded. That indistinct figure in the purple sun appeared, purple energy surging, having a sun and moon devouring might. Everyone was shocked. 2 great geniuses were finally going to clash, only, it was unknown if Huang can even fight or not. Would he even be Purple Sun Heavenly Monarch's opponent? No problem. Shahao nodded, not minding at all, agreeing joyously. It was because he wanted to examine the results of his seclusion in the last 3 years. He had left for too long, many people about to forget him, even Jin Jiaoshi daring to provoke his dignity. Perhaps he needed a battle to intimidate the present world's heroes. Master, is there a need for you to personally take action? How about I fight in your place? The attendant spoke from the side, making many people's expressions change when they heard this. They called him an attendant, but he had long grown up, now 25 or 6, in the golden years of his life. He was well known because of Purple Sun Heavenly Monarch. He remained at Purple Sun Heavenly Monarch's side every day, reading all types of scriptures, researching and studying world-shaking ancient heavenly arts, his strength rising up greatly. He was indeed powerful and frightening, rarely having opponents. Just an attendant, yet you dare act like this. Truly quite daring. Heavenly Deity Institution's students were both alarmed and angry. Someone stood up, loudly shouting. What kind of status did Shahao have? No matter how strong this attendant was, rarely encountering his match in Immortal Academy, he was still a servant in the end. How could he directly challenge Huang? Step down. Purple Sun Heavenly Monarch's voice was deep and low, clearly a bit unhappy, scolding the attendant. The attendant named Zitong had red lips and white teeth, appearance extremely handsome. When he heard this, he curled his lips, but still withdrew in the end, standing together with Jin Jiaoshi, still dissatisfied. Brother Sha is quite mysterious, disappearing for 2 to 3 years in one leave. I wonder which seed did you end up merging with? Purple Sun Heavenly Monarch asked. He really was curious. In this world, from past until now, there were only those few true unmatched seeds, able to be counted. Now, based on what he knew, the ancient seeds have pretty much all had owners, merged with people. So where did Shahao go to find one? He wasn't the only one who wanted to know, the others' breaths were held as well, wishing to know what kind of fortuitous encounter Shahao had, if he truly had the qualifications to become a supreme being. Everyone focused their attention on Shahao, their eyes landing on him. You are going to be disappointed. There are only those few perfect seeds. I didn't obtain one, Immortal Academy unwilling to give me one. Shahao replied as things were. When these words sounded, everyone's reactions were different. There were some who felt unfairness for Shahao, feeling frustrated for him. He was the genius of a generation before, one of the most powerful supreme beings, yet no one regarded him as important, not giving him a suitable seed. What did this mean? From here on forth, he would start to decline, unable to rise up into the clouds, losing the qualifications to compete against Zi1, Great Shutuo, and others. There were many who released sighs of relief, for example, those from Immortal Academy and Sacred Academy. They immediately felt like the pressure they were facing decreased, no longer feeling restraining fear. It was to the extent where some people began to laugh softly. Not merging with a perfect seed meant that Huang was destined to become more and more ordinary, become commonplace. He couldn't look down on everyone anymore. What a pity, even though the display was powerful, suddenly returning, in the end, he is still too lacking, unable to compare to true supreme beings. Wu, if it was me, I would have definitely found a place to hide and disappear. What liveliness is there to join? Is being suppressed by another that good of a feeling? A few people took joy in his disaster. Shahao's decline meant that they didn't have anything to fear. There wasn't much to be scared of. Some of Heavenly Deity Institution's disciples felt a feeling of powerlessness, at the same time gloominess. This was reality. After this, it would be extremely difficult for Heavenly Deity Institution to raise their heads. How tragic. Immortal Academy's Wu Tai mocked. He had previously been cut down, and even the azure armor Little Sky King lent him was taken, which was why he hated Shahao bitterly. Nothing more than this. Without a perfect seed, what kind of achievements can you have? I think you should just let me fight him. That attendant spoke again, surging with battle intent. Did you merge with a wondrous ancient seed second only to a perfect seed? Purple Sun Heavenly Monarch asked another question. I did not, was not able to obtain one. Shahao shook his head. Ha ha, Wu Tai couldn't hold himself back anymore, now roaring with laughter. He had his azure armor stolen from him and even had his body blown up, leaving him so ashamed he couldn't show his face. He had previously declared that he would wait for Shahao in the next great cultivation realm, that if he didn't have a perfect ancient seed, he will definitely decline. This was when Wu Tai would get his revenge. He believed that the chance had come, managed to wait until this day. When he saw how bitter his enemy's circumstances were, he felt incredible joy inside. Lord, just let me. This kind of person, who doesn't even have a seed as good as my ancient seed, isn't worthy of fighting a decisive battle against you. It is enough if you just leave this to me. The attendant spoke up again. Quite a few people from Immortal Academy began to laugh, feeling incredibly carefree. It was because there were some who previously clashed with Shahao, and now, they completely felt at ease, no longer worried about this opponent. This place immediately became noisy with voices. Why dares bully my bro? Right at this time, an expanse of light appeared in the air. Those were figures appearing one after another, a group of people hurrying over on divine multicolor light. Dawn. Dust surged. Those people landed on the ground, at the very front of Fatty, his face like buns, dressed in a moon-white Daoist robe. It was precisely Cao Yusheng. At his side was a young lady with long silver hair that shone like a mirror, looking like she was 15 or 16 years of age, her large eyes sparkling and translucent like rubies. It was the little rabbit. The lunar jade rabbit made threatening gestures, widening her large eyes, baring her little teeth as she shouted, "You think you are anything special? Just a stupid attendant, yet you dare challenge Huang. Trash like you, if it were a few years ago, we would have long eaten you already." Behind these two were Chang Gongyang, Witch, Feng Wu, Zhen Jiyu, Fire Gold Clan's Ting Yi, Dragon Girl, and others. Most of these youngsters from the 3,000 provinces chose to enter Sacred Academy, now just arriving. The attendant was annoyed. In these past few years at Purple Sun Heavenly Monarch's side, who dared to treat him with disrespect? Everyone was extra careful to be courteous to him, yet today, he was berated like this. He felt that this was absolutely intolerable. You all don't understand the height and depths of heaven and earth. What is so special about Huang? I admit that he was strong before, but what is he worth now? He can't even get a seed with some flaw, his accomplishments will definitely be limited. The attendant screamed. Even without merging with a Dao seed, just because he is Huang, he can still kill you with just a finger. The little rabbit cried out, her sparkling white face starting to become a bit red from agitation. Her large eyes were widened until they were round, clearly angered. Exactly. Back then, when Shahao had dominated the world, who knew what hole a brat like you was hiding in? Cao Yusheng shouted. Even though I don't know what happened to Huang in these past 2 years, I believe that a single finger of his can beat you down. A single smile from the witch dazzled all life, possessing an extremely seductive appearance, exceptionally enchanting. She didn't need any reasons to believe Shahao was strong. Correct, a single finger can cripple you. Quite a few cultivators from the 3,000 provinces shouted from behind. Shahao felt a warm feeling. After all this time, these people defended him as soon as they appeared, making him feel warm. The attendant's face fell ashen, truly angered badly. In his opinion, he had never suffered this much humiliation before. He was immediately angered to the extreme, pressing forward and saying, "I want to see who can cripple me with a single finger." The scene became extremely quiet, only his heavy breathing sounding. Everyone's eyes were drawn, because he was already approaching Shahao. "As you wish," Shahao said indifferently. His movements weren't fast, but extremely decisive. He reached out his right hand, his forefinger pointing out. "Just come and try." The attendant sneered. His entire body shone, releasing a type of astonishing precious technique. Purple energy overflowed, engulfing the sky. Shahao's hand enlarged, his speed still not that fast, but it was heavy like a mountain, slowly crushing down, making one feel like they were suffocating. The attendant's pupils contracted. He felt an instinctive feeling that things were not going well. He wanted to avoid, but he discovered that he couldn't do so. After that finger enlarged, it crushed down like a mountain. He couldn't escape no matter what type of secret method he displayed, leaving him horrified. Peng! That finger pressed against his body. The attendant's body released a bone-fracturing noise, his mouth coughing out large amounts of blood. Then, his entire body flew out. His chest caved in, other parts also warping, difficult to imagine just how frightening of a strike he received. His entire body seemed like it was going to collapse. It was just a single finger. The attendant flew out, withering like a dried yellow leaf, falling onto the ground, his mouth full of bloody suds, the floor dyed red. One could see that his entire body was twisted irregularly, as if a meteor smashed into him, his body caving in. This was a heavy blow. When Shahao's finger enlarged just now, it was like the monk type of ancient immortal from the last great era, palm transforming the world, ruler of all. A single finger was like a pillar that supported the heavens, casually descending, seriously injuring the powerful attendant. He laid on the ground, unable to crawl back up, already half ruined. The attendant's body was contorting, his limbs twitching, shaking involuntarily. After suffering this type of terrifying strike, he lost all ability to move. It was precisely like how Cao Yusheng, Little Rabbit, Witch, and the others were shouting, a single finger was enough to cripple him. It was as if they were prophesying, this truly the result. This place became dead silent, everyone as if fallen under a magical spell. When they saw this scene, they found it difficult to speak. Was this Huang? Just how strong was he now? A single finger was enough to ruin the attendant, make him lose the ability to fight. It was just too shocking. One had to know that this attendant named Zitong wasn't an ordinary person. After following Purple Sun Heavenly Monarch, he was allowed to organize and study the scriptures that the Heavenly Monarch normally cultivated, the benefits he obtained unimaginable. It could be said that in the present Immortal Academy and Sacred Academy, the attendant was also a formidable individual, could be said to be a heroic expert. It was precisely under these circumstances that he was still suppressed by a single finger of another, seemingly crippled. Just how frightening was this? It made everyone shiver with fear. When they recalled that this person was Huang, everyone felt like the situation was now grave. A past young king, someone who bore an unmatched attitude, someone who everyone thought declined, ended up returning like this. In that instant, the atmosphere in this place became a bit stifling. Many people didn't believe that he didn't obtain a perfect seed. He definitely encountered some heaven-shocking opportunity. At the same time, there were quite a few people who looked towards that great purple-colored sun, towards the young heavenly monarch. They all wanted to see his reaction. This place was dead silent, the atmosphere a bit suffocating. It was because a battle between young supreme beings might break out soon. Now, even though everyone didn't understand, they wouldn't doubt Shahao's strength. This was a terrifying king figure, just that they didn't know if he could rank within the supreme beings. Wu, impressive methods, using the true primordial record to break through the methods, transform the decaying into the miraculous. Only those who have read and reread these scriptures, truly understanding, could they have this type of achievements. Lan Xian spoke. Everyone was stunned, from her words learning what kind of wondrous methods Shahao used. It was actually the ancient scripture, true primordial record. Towards this ancient method, the upper piece was named Divine Guidance, this portion existing in the treasuries of a few top-level ancient great sects. So the successors of the clan had the opportunity to read through them. This was why it wasn't an absolute secret. However, the upper piece Divine Guidance's 10,000 spirit diagram wasn't something that everyone had seen. Back then, Shahao had obtained it from a mysterious altar full of divine bones from the lower realm's western tomb's burial ground, on that place consecrated a golden arm bone, a crystal skull, and a piece of sparkling white bone 10,000 spirit diagram. Shahau not only cultivated divine guidance's characters, he also achieved enlightenment through this diagram. Meanwhile, at his age, those who had access to true primordial records' divine guidance found it difficult to fully comprehend. Only a few old monsters were able to research a bit deeper. Shahau's several instances of Tao comprehension all touched upon the true primordial record, already understanding this bone extremely well, his knowledge far deeper than others, reaching an unimaginable level. Right now, he didn't show any expression in response, nor did he say anything. In the sky, that great purple sun finally calmed down a bit. Even though the young heavenly monarch's voice was still calm, it felt even more distant, as if it came from beyond the heavens, giving everyone a chilly and inferior feeling. It is actually the true primordial record. It was rumored that even if one doesn't use precious techniques, only studying this method, if one can comprehend it to the greatest level, it can also fuse all methods, defeat all enemies with the most simple and plain bone texts. It seems like this statement has a bit of reasoning behind it. Purple Sun Heavenly Monarch said. Everyone's minds trembled. Was he acknowledging Shahau, praising his accomplishments in this method? Many people had heard that this way wasn't the hardest to get into, the most frightening only later on. If one truly wanted to delve into it, even a few old monsters felt helpless, just the first piece divine guidance already leaving many people stumped. As for the next piece transcendence, forget about studying it, just finding it was impossible, unknown where it was. From past until now, not many people had seen it. There were rumors that the transcendence piece was in Supreme Hall. However, it had already withered away, no longer in existence. Brother Shah, I wish to ask you, did you truly not obtain a perfect seed? Purple Sun Heavenly Monarch asked, his tone serious. The others even more so wanted to know what kind of seed Shahau obtained. They were also listening carefully, wanting to get to the bottom of what was going on. Even though Immortal Academy has a precious seed or two left, I heard that they were all prepared for others. I had no chance. Shahau replied, saying candidly that he didn't obtain an exceptional Tao seed. When they heard these words, many people were stunned. He didn't have a rare precious seed, yet he still had his present accomplishments. If he did obtain one before, then just how strong would he become? Many people sighed with sorrow and regret, exclaiming in astonishment, but at the same time felt great pity for him. If he never obtained a perfect ancient seed, then regardless of how strong Shahau was now, how stunning, he was still destined to be inferior to those young supreme beings. After merging with a perfect seed that was acknowledged by heaven and earth, one would become like the child of the heavens, becoming powerful beyond imagination. Others wouldn't be able to compare at all, impossible to surpass. Did you obtain the ashes of an ancient immortal, and then merge with them? Right at this time, Great Shutuor suddenly spoke. He didn't reveal his true body, just a pure gold arms bowl floating in the air, a voice released from within it. Everyone was stunned. They understood his intentions, because Great Shutuor rose up precisely because of this, obtaining the ashes of an ancient monk, and was thus viewed as the successor of an ancient immortal. Everyone suddenly understood. So it was like this. I have not. Shahau replied. This response shattered everyone's suspicions. Right now, everyone was sure that he really had no karma with a perfect seed. With things already developing like this, in the eyes of the powerful, no matter how stunning Shahau was, he still wouldn't be able to withstand Purple Sun Heavenly Monarch's might. It truly is a pity. With Brother Shah's heaven-warping aptitudes, there was still no perfect Tao seed. It is just too unfortunate, missing out on the greatest glory of one's life. Purple Sun Heavenly Monarch shook his head, releasing a voice full of regret from that purple sun. Heavenly Deity Institution's students now completely lost hope, but at the same time felt extremely resentful, feeling that Immortal Academy was unfair. How could they abandon Shahao, giving the extra seeds to others? Isn't it because of your Immortal Academy's old fellas gave in to selfish desires, disregarding talent, giving the immortal seeds to those long-life families' successors, that they have special connections to abandoning Huang? Truly hateful. There were people from Heavenly Deity Institution who protested injustice, speaking these words with anger. As for who those final ancient seeds were gifted to, even now, no one knew. There was no confirmation, always remaining a mystery. Immortal Academy is just an impartial, please watch your mouths. Purple Sun Heavenly Monarch's voice was no longer calm, becoming severe and cold. Everyone shivered inwardly. They knew that this young Heavenly Monarch came from Immortal Academy. The great mist purple energy seed was obtained because of an ancient cave opened by Immortal Academy. So how could he tolerate this academy being spoken badly about? It truly is a pity. I originally wished to fight against you to satisfy a desire, but now, it seems like you've disappointed me. Purple Sun Heavenly Monarch looked down on this place. A few young cultivators sighed. Huang was already powerful enough. Even though he had only taken action simply just now, it shocked many people. However, in Purple Sun Heavenly Monarch's opinion, someone who didn't obtain a perfect ancient seed lost the qualifications to face him, not worthy of being his opponent. Even though his tone was calm, this type of arrogance and powerful attitude immediately made many female cultivators' eyes release brilliant multicolored light, deeply feeling a type of innate domineeringness within him. This was how the strong were. This was especially the case when the one he faced was Huang, someone who had previously forged an undefeated legend, his battle accomplishments splendid, yet he could still act like this. This type of decisiveness, domineeringness made him seem even more enchanting to some young ladies. The Heavenly Monarch is extraordinary after all, a supreme being of this age. Someone shouted. Those who stood against Shahao became even more excited now, hoping for Purple Sun Heavenly Monarch to display his power, even better if he could take action, suppress this person that made them feel uneasy. If Master takes action, all enemies will naturally be suppressed. Huang is definitely not your opponent. Even that attendant endured the pain, speaking with a placid expression. As for Jin Jiaoshi behind him, he was extremely nervous, not daring to speak randomly, hiding there. The Heavenly Monarch is the most powerful, incomparable in this generation. From Immortal Academy, Wu Tai and a few others shouted out, looking at Shahao coldly. Truly arrogant, what nonsense Heavenly Monarch. I've never heard of such a thing before. The little rabbit was furious, annoyed at their words. Cao Yusheng, Feng Wu, and the others also wanted to retort, but they felt like this young Heavenly Monarch was high up above, indeed having the strength to look down on the world. If they went against him, if he fought a great battle against Shahao, would it be a good thing? They were fearful that Shahao would be defeated and heavily injured. Back then, when Shahao was at the very top, how come we didn't see all of you bad characters? Now, all of you feel like you are unmatched, as if you are all supreme beings, ridiculously arrogant. Truly shameless. The lunar jade rabbit grinded her teeth, continuing to mock them. Kai. Purple Sun Heavenly Monarch pointed out, a pill flying out, entering the attendant's mouth. It turned into a wave of heat, rushing towards his limbs and bones, healing his injuries. This was a divine pill refined from the most precious medicinal ingredients, the main medicine, naturally divine medicine, that could bring one back from the brink of death. It immediately displayed its effects, the attendant's body shining, a wave of heat surging, connecting his muscles and bones. Soon afterwards, he stood up. Master, please take action. Huang is too arrogant. Humiliating me like this is also a type of disrespect towards your distinguished self. The attendant beseeched. His teeth were clenched when he looked at Shahao, now hoping that Purple Sun Heavenly Monarch would suppress this person. Shut up and withdraw. Purple Sun Heavenly Monarch berated. Didn't you want to fight me? Shahao asked. In this present cultivation realm, there is no need. Purple Sun Heavenly Monarch said indifferently, a bit cold. It was as if there was a great distance between them, sounding even more arrogant. It was because it was just like he said. For those without perfect seeds, he felt that it was beneath him to view them as opponents. The corners of Shahao's lips curled up, carrying a faint smile. How will you know without giving it a try? Fine. Suddenly, Purple Sun Heavenly Monarch responded like this, leaving everyone a bit surprised. Wasn't it beneath him to fight? Why did he suddenly agree? I know that you are powerful in the heavenly deity realm, then how about the two of us just fight in the heavenly deity realm? Purple Sun Heavenly Monarch said. Everyone was first stupefied. He was not an ordinary person after all, full of confidence. He was actually going to fight Shahao like this. One had to understand that Huang was too splendid in the heavenly deity realm, unstoppable, never suffering a defeat, intimidating the heavenly talents of all clans. Now, Purple Sun Heavenly Monarch actually wanted to fight him in the heavenly deity realm. Just how confident and domineering was this? He wanted to decide victory and defeat in this manner. Many female cultivators immediately became excited, a few even screaming out. They felt that Purple Sun Heavenly Monarch was decisive and powerful, truly like the monarch of a generation, daring to face an enemy in their most powerful aspect. Heavenly Monarch will definitely win, difficult for you to face a defeat under the sky. Several young ladies who had good opinions of him shouted with excitement. This video will end here.